Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another special edition of Litter Media Live. I'm your host, Mike Smith. Our interview today brought to you by Hometown Motors Incorporated. Joining us in studio today, we have Jennifer McKell and also Melody Knoles of Calvary Lutheran Church. We're going to be talking about the Celestial Ringers. Now, you can't see them yet, but we have some demonstration models here of the bells. There, Jennifer's holding that up, and we'll talk more about that all coming up right after this from Hometown Motors Incorporated.
As a professional race car driver, I live for speed, power, and performance on and off the track. That's why I use the Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower. Race into your local dealership today and test drive a new Dixie Chopper.
We're back with Jennifer McKell and Melody Knoles. Celestial Ringers. We were just talking before we went on the air. That name's been around for maybe a couple of years.
About
right?
3, I think, is when we decided that that's what we would name ourselves.
Did this come about, did you say, during the COVID period? Or?
I went to my first Bell Festival right before COVID hit. And I went with Walnut Street Church Choir because at Calvary we didn't have a bell choir yet. And Jennifer was a part of that.
Right.
And
I'm
she's
from
from
Walnut
Walnut Street. And Muriel Weaver, who's the director over there, invited me to go, and it was great. I had a blast, and we'd always wanted bells at Calvary. So we started a campaign through one of the companies in Pennsylvania that was called Give a Bell. And we had members of our congregation that sponsored a bell to purchase because they are not cheap.
Yeah.
And so we did all that during COVID, and we're able to get our 3-octave set. And then so we started playing, during about the end of COVID.
Right.
And then we're able to go to festivals when they started back up again, and that's when we named ourselves.
Gotcha. So, Jennifer, are you on loan from Walnut Street, or what's the story here?
I am, and that's the great thing about church musicians is that they love to help each other out. So I go to Walnut Street, and I've been in Muriel's handbell choir for a number of years. So when Melody put out the call, I was thrilled to join her group for this event that we have coming up.
Yeah. I have heard, bell choirs.
Good.
But I'm not musically. I sing well in the shower and on the lawnmower, but that's about the extent. I go what the scriptures say, make a joyful noise unto the Lord.
Noise.
So this is out of my league here. How long does it take to learn how to play the bells?
It is truly a learning process, and it's because it's so different from other musical instruments. Even people who are good musicians, play piano or whatever, have a hard time learning what it takes to play bells. And you're in a group, you're totally dependent on each other.
Absolutely.
I like to use sports metaphors because everybody understands them. But to me, playing handbells is like playing baseball and reading music at the same time.
Oh, wow.
You're doing this, you're reading music, you're playing your note while everybody else plays their. You're playing your note only while everybody else plays their note. Truly a team effort.
The hardest thing for me, because I've played the piano since I was 8 years old, and I sing, but to follow a choral music where you've got all these other people singing your parts and you're singing every note. You're singing every note, every word, but with the bells, you cannot do that. You might hear the other people playing, but you have to focus on what your note is in that music. And only play that. So
again, speaking as a layman here, of course, our viewers can't see this, but there's what appears to be is that a musical note on the handle?
Yes.
So each bell has its own note.
Right.
Exactly.
And different octaves.
Okay.
Because on this one, this is a B5. So your B would be the note B. The 5 would be the octave, whatever octave you're playing in. So in a 3-octave set, that we purchased originally, we have 5s and 6s, but it's kind of confusing.
Yeah.
They're split, so there's 12 in each octave. But if you buy a new set, then you'll have 7 at the top and 5 added to the bottom, so that you can get that broad spread
Gotcha.
of.
Now, I noticed when
keyboard.
you and Jennifer picked those up, I didn't hear the clapper. Is it in there?
Yeah, do you want us to ring it? Go ahead and
Well,
ring
I'm
it,
just
Melody.
curious. Yeah.
Okay, the clapper is inside.
Okay.
And for a handbell to ring it, you hold it by the handle, and you don't want to touch that because that'll. You don't want to touch with your fingers. So we usually wear belt or gloves. So, oops. wait a minute, let me get my, and so the sound goes out the top,
Gotcha.
right?
Okay.
And it's kind of in a circular.
And it looks like the clapper has a rubber seal around it.
It does, and then you can turn it to get different sounds. If you want it to be a little more muted, you can turn it to make a little softer.
See, I'm learning something here today, folks. Hopefully you are too. Now, Jennifer, what is that other contraption down on the end?
This one is a chime, makes a different sound.
Okay.
And the sound on the chimes comes out the end. So with a bell, you're doing it up, and on the chime, you have to go out so that the sound will go out this way so the audience can hear it.
So do you have a chime in every note as you do the bell?
Yes. So
If you can afford it.
yeah, in my position, I might have a G and an A bell and a A sharp and a G sharp, and then I have chimes in the same notes sitting right beside them. So you're changing hands and changing bells all the time.
And not every song has both in it.
Yeah.
There are some songs that you just want to play the chimes on, or there's another song that you might play that starts out with bells, and then in the middle of it, we have a couple of those that we're doing for our concert that you change to your chimes, just for a softer sound. It's really pretty.
So you have an upcoming concert.
Yeah.
We do.
When is that?
It is March the 23rd. It's a Sunday afternoon at 3:30 at Calvary. And this is part of our 125th anniversary celebration. Our church is having their 125th anniversary in 2025. So we've tried to do different things during the year, each month, whether it's musical or whatever, just to have the community come in. Excuse me. So we didn't have anything scheduled for March yet, and we're getting ready to go to festival, which is a 5-area conference festival. That's it's 5 states in April. So we thought this would be a good way for us to prepare and practice and get ready for that, plus share it with the community.
Yeah. How many people are in the handbell choir, this particular choir?
We have 12 to maybe 12 or 13.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's about what it takes to
right.
be able to play the music we want
Right.
to play.
So what happens if somebody doesn't show on that note?
That's a great question, because the biggest challenge
Yes.
in handbell choirs is people's schedules. People have to have commitment and really want to do it.
Yes.
That you've hit the biggest challenge we face.
That's the challenge. Yes, because on a choral group, you
can do
might
without
have
somebody.
6 people singing alto, or 3 people on tenor, but so you have coverage. But you do not on a handbell group. And if you miss that, we could have 12 people, and there might be one person that plays 1 or 2 notes of the whole song. But if you don't have that, you don't have a complete song.
Exactly.
And it's a struggle. It's very
but
hard.
That's what contributes to the team aspect of it, though. It's you truly become a team.
Yes. Now, when we go to festival, we've already got 650 people that are closest buddies,
Right.
that we'll be playing with, and that'll be in Columbus in April. But so it's a lot different.
Now, Jennifer, it seems to me that Walnut Street Methodist, your choir plays frequently.
Yes, and we have been going, I don't know how long, but probably 20 years or so. So we do play frequently for church services and occasional special events. And coming up, I always say for church musicians, Easter and Christmas is like being in the playoffs, because you practice and practice and practice and then perform and perform and perform. So Easter's coming up. So
Yes.
we'll play on
busy
Good Friday,
time.
we'll play on Easter.
And they're phenomenal. They're wonderful.
It's very fun.
And Muriel's an excellent leader. I mean,
Well,
I would love to work under her.
And I want to
anytime.
say that Melody herself is an excellent musician. I'm so pleased that she's doing this and inviting other people to participate.
I'm learning. It's a process.
So is that your hope? And I call her Mel because we've known each other since we were teenagers. Is that your hope that Calvary Lutheran will have a frequent playing of the bells?
We're limited. We play every couple months. We don't play every week. We don't play every other week. And it's mostly because of our schedule, because all but maybe one person in my bell choir is also in my choral, in my choir.
Right.
And so to try to get those people to commit to having to come to practice for choir and practice for bells, there's just not time.
Sure.
So during this season, ever since Christmas, we've been having choir on Sunday mornings, and we've been doing bells, nothing but bells on the week, during the week. And it's a challenge when you've got people. So I would love to get more people involved in it. But we'll see.
Yeah, I believe Jennifer Schmidt plays at.
Yes, she does.
She goes to our church, but she still goes to play, I think.
Well, that's the thing. Like I say, with church musicians, it doesn't even matter so much what church you go to. You want to go to other groups and help out. And
Right.
we have people who have moved on to other churches and still come back to our bell choir, which really says something.
great.
Yeah, a few of my choir played with Presbyterian with Susie year ago summer, and that was a lot of fun too.
Right.
So we do share, but we're right across the street
Yes,
from
we
each
are.
other.
Not that far away.
Yeah, so I asked Muriel, I said, can we borrow a couple of your bigger bells? And she said, if you come and get them, because I'm not carting them across the street, because they can be big.
Yeah.
I mean, you go anywhere from
They're
just
heavy,
little
yeah.
tiny ones to huge bells.
This
Yeah.
sounds like the big silver screen days of Hollywood, when studios would loan out an actor to a different studio, and he would trade, for that particular movie. Melody, anything else you want to mention about the concert times? Is there tickets?
No, it is a free concert. The reason we started thinking about doing this also was because handbells are very, very expensive, and we've been able to get four octaves, and we don't have the people to play 4 octaves all the time. So to be able to play some of the music that's out there, we wanted to get some more people involved. So we have 3 to 4 coming from Walnut Street,
Right.
joining us, and also just to kind of it'll be a free will. If anybody wants to put $1 or so in a basket, they can, but we are not charging admission.
Gotcha.
Because we've spent quite a bit of money going to festival in April, and that's fine. And we just want people to hear the bells.
Sure.
We want them to come out, the community to hear this, and maybe want to be a part of it, because it's not normal. Every church doesn't have a bell choir.
Right.
Right, exactly.
And there's got to be a lot of people that play, that are musicians out there, that might want to try it sometime.
One last question,
Sure.
and this is a history question. Maybe Jennifer can answer. The history of handbell choirs. How far back do we go?
We talked about this.
Yeah, we did talk about this. It's way back, and I'm not a historian, but my understanding is it originated in England with people ringing the huge church bells with ropes, and that handbells emerged as a way to practice without having to
Right.
use the big bells.
Right. They were English help.
Interesting. There's a test on this later, kids. Date and time again of the concert at Calvary Lutheran.
Sunday, March 23rd, 3:30 in the afternoon.
Check it out. I think you'll really enjoy it. Again, our guest today, Melody Knoles, also Jennifer McKell, talking about Calvary Lutheran's Celestial Ringers coming up. Our interview today brought to you by Hometown Motors Incorporated. I'm Mike Smith.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.